Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Ruth, and we're going to be chatting about When Sleeping Women Wake. This story follows three extraordinary women as they learn to survive in the circumstances that they're in. So, currently, there's a war going on where the Japanese are occupying Hong Kong and Shanghai. And the author does try to stay true to a lot of the events that happened, so like World War II and things like that. So she does try to stay true to that. Of course, there's going to be some things that she takes freedom and liberty to change a little bit, but most of the things that are written in the story are based on true events and things like that. And it takes place between 1941 to 1945. First, in the book, there is a wonderful quote that I like to share, and this quote reminds me of one of my favorite movies, The Notebook.
What do you want?
About if you're a bird, I'm a bird, but in this case, I think this quote feels a little bit more tragic in the destiny of this person. So here's the quote. She wasn't a bird in a cage. A bird in a cage, when the cage is open, can still fly away. She was a bird embroidered onto a screen, a white bird in a clouds of gold stitched onto a screen of melancholy satin. The years passed. The bird's feathers darkened, mildewed, and were eaten by moths. But the bird stayed on the screen even in death. By Eileen Chang, Love in a Fallen City. I don't know, that just really spoke to me, and it was just the way it was written was really beautiful, and like I mentioned earlier, very tragic. So I love the writing in this book. It's really well written, and I think it really showcased the strength of these three women. So the three women, their name are Mingsu, Chiang, and Biyu. So sorry if I butchered those names there, but Mingzu is what they call the primary wife. So during this time, and I think still currently, there are some places that still do this where they have multiple wives. So that's a con for me, is um, people that like to do that. So no offense, that's just not my style. But anyways, so she's married to a husband who has multiple wives, and so Mingsu, she bears a daughter, and her daughter's name is Chang. And then Biyu is their servant that's followed them throughout this whole journey as well. And so we'll talk about loyalty for sure. And Biyu like really watches out for Chiang and Mingsu. So you follow these three women in their challenges, what they learn about each other, and what makes them strong. And as I read each of their story, I loved it because it was like a new adventure, new thing that they had to deal with. And it was, to me, felt very believable. And each one of them, anchored in the fact that like they still wanted to try to find each other, like they still remember each other, if that makes sense. So I really like that. The Sleeping Women title, it reminds me of the game Sleeping Dogs. I don't think they're related, but it just reminds me of it. And I think the title is a very powerful statement too, because I take it as women obviously are strong and we can do a lot of things. But, if we really wake up, we can move mountains. So that's how I took the title of this book, and I thought it was fitting because I thought that's exactly what the three characters did. They took matters into their own hands to change their destiny, or try to change their destiny, right? And it was very gripping, some of the things that they have to deal with. And a couple other quotes I wanted to share is, I don't believe that all Japanese, that you can insert many things into this, are shrouded in darkness. But in the current circumstances, being alert is the best course of action. And to me, that quote stood out because it's just more of like a safety thing, So always good to be on alert. And then Another quote that really spoke to me too was, I'm going to butcher this in Mandarin, Gehuarugeyan, but along the lines, it means, each flower blooms differently. So you may think blank to the most beautiful flower you have ever seen, but if blank does not see you as a sun, it doesn't matter how much you spend showering blank with affection, blank will never bloom for you. So blank, I omitted some names because I didn't want to give away the stuff, but with the quote, you know, it's just meaningful in a sense of, yeah, I think everyone deserves somebody, but at the same time, maybe that person that you like may not like you back. And that's okay because there's going to be tons of other people that are going to like you. So I think that's just a good reminder with that quote. The book cover is gorgeous. It really, to me, also conveys just the feeling that the women have in the story. It's a very like somber, sad, but hopeful look. So I really like the book cover. I like that we didn't spend too much time in a certain place, and you knew exactly what place you're in. And although this book is a little bit about war, it doesn't really focus too much on it. I mean, there's still some action and fighting scenes in this book, but I think the main focus is the three women and the dialogue of this book. So that was like a plus for me. All right. Well, hopefully you'll give this book a shot. I will give this a 4 stars. Like always, please leave a like, comment, share, rate, subscribe. It will really help me out a lot. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Happy reading.